Hey everyone, this is Jappy from lbpbuilder.com, and this is our first official video tutorial to go along with the site. I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a cannon. This isn't just a cannon that uses an emitter to fire the objects. It does use an emitter to load the objects, but other than that it's all mechanical. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is create a background. We're going to do this by making a zero thickness plane in the very far back, and what this does is allows us to just have a little canvas to attach everything to. So you'll notice I turn on grid mode. That makes it a lot easier to get everything snug and fit. To create the barrel of the cannon, I'm just going to create a solid block of wood and then shrink the block down so that I can just cut out from the middle. And that's a really good way to cut out of objects, to get it nice and even. Now I'm going to make another block inside. This is essentially going to be the plunger of the cannon. And now I just need a piston to attach to that plunger, which is going to be able to push our object out of the barrel. It's really nice because in the beta, even if you're in grid mode, the pistons didn't snap to grid. But now they do in the final game, so that's really nice. Okay, so now that we got that set up, we're going to go ahead and tweak the piston. Maximum length, you want to just put it out far enough, that when it travels that distance, it has enough momentum to launch the object out. Minimum length, go ahead and just put it, pretty much to 0. Strength, leave it the same. Time, now you can go to 0.1. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of time what happens to me, it'll be too fast, and a lot of times it'll either break the block of wood that you're using for the plunger, or it's going to just pass right through the object. And so I usually put it at 0.3 because it's fast enough to really get the object out of the barrel and not too fast to break anything. You'll notice that I made sure, you got to make sure the piston is stiff. Otherwise, when it goes to launch, the plunger is just going to be all floppy inside and it'll probably end up breaking. Okay, so now we're going to attach a wobble bolt. Usually when I'm attaching bolts and switches, I usually turn the grid out just because it's a little bit easier. And what this is going to do is this is going to control the aiming of the cannon. It's going to be able to rotate up and then back down. And the way we're going to control this is by having a grab switch. Now, I'm going to be using 3 grab switches. One of them is going to be to raise and lower the cannon. And there's going to be a second one to control the loading of the cannon, and a third one to fire the cannon. So the reason I use grab switches is because they're nice and easy to control. You just tap R1 when you're next to them and it'll activate it, versus a 2-way or a 3-way switch where you have to grab and then pull it one way or the other. This is a lot more efficient. Okay, so we're going to attach this one. This is our launch switch. And you just attach it to the piston, and then when we go in and tweak it, we're going to change it to direction for the behavior. On and off is just going to make it go back and forth really fast when you grab it. Direction is going to make it shoot out when you grab it, and then when you let go, it'll snap back. And that's what I found is best for being able to control it, make sure it just shoots once when you grab it. Okay, now we're going to set up the wobble bolt switch, and this is going to be able to control our cannon when we aim it. And this, everything can stay at default. Behavior's on and off so that when you grab it, it'll start moving. When you let go, it'll stop. And we'll give you an example of that here. So yeah, you basically just let go where you would want it to aim. I'm going to keep it down in the default position for now. And that's our plunger action right there. Grab, shoots out, let go, it goes back. It's nice and clean. Now we are going to set up the loader. This is it's really basic. I'm going to cut out a section out of the top of the barrel. I'm going to turn grid mode on just so I can get everything nice and precise. And I cut out a section, and then I create like a little compartment above. And what that is going to do is that's going to house our emitter and allow whatever we emit to fall down from that compartment into the barrel, and then we can shoot it out. Like I said, I like to turn off grid mode when I'm doing switches or bolts, and that includes also emitters too. So we're going to attach this switch to the emitter. I'm doing this before I go in and tweak the emitter settings. That way, as I'm tweaking the emitter settings, stuff doesn't just start flying out. You can also just pause by pressing up on the D-pad when you go in to edit your emitter, and that works as well. Okay, so we're going to select our object to emit. I have found that these fairy lights are kind of cool. You want to make sure you set it back into the very back plane. That way it's actually in our barrel. If you were to set it in the middle or the front plane, that object would just fall and it wouldn't be in our barrel. It would emit outside of the barrel. So you got to make sure it's in the right plane. And you'll see I turned linear velocity to 2. I'll explain that a little bit later. Other than that, timing, or frequency rather, you want to be as low as possible, 0.1. That way when you grab it, the object will just fall down immediately. Okay, so when you go for to set lifetime and max emitted, that's all however you want to do it. I usually set the lifetime a little bit high, that way you can shoot the object out and the object will sit around for a while. I also turn up the max emitted to high, that way they're not disappearing as you're shooting them. So let's give this a shot. Aim it, load it, and shoot it. I find it's pretty sturdy, doesn't like to break very often, so that's nice. Here I'm going to shoot it straight up, and I'll show you why the emitter was set to 2.0 velocity. You'll see that as I emit the fairy light, it rolls in horizontally, and that's because I set the linear velocity to 2.0, and that's just, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to really want to shoot it straight up in the air, you know, very often, but it's there in case you need it. If you had it at 0 linear velocity, it would just spawn and sit right there in the compartment on the left. So that linear velocity pushes it into the barrel when it's vertical like that. And then, of course, when the barrel's down, it doesn't really matter because it's going to fall down anyway. So that's that. You could take a thin 0 thickness plane and kind of just paste it over the barrel, and it would hide everything that's going on inside. Or you can leave it open like that. You know, you might want to decorate it up or whatever. You can also select the whole object and save it for later, or you could select the whole object, detach it from the floor, maybe put it on some sort of a trolley or something that you can control. You can move it around. It could be like a little tank or whatever. So yeah, that's the mechanical cannon. Next up, I'm going to be doing the emitter cannon, which is a lot easier to set up, but it's also much more effective and more practical. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out lbpbuilder.com for lots more tutorials and latest news on Little Big Planet.